Hello, everyone. Today, I am so pleased to introduce somebody called Michael Muir, who's a transformational body work expert. And it turns out that Michael has been in my friends list for some time on Facebook. And he's just, for some reason, been appearing in my feed quite a lot recently. And I was actually taken aback by how many skills you have, Michael, and how your viewership on YouTube is not seeming to reflect the amount of skills and qualities that you have. And something prompted me to reach out to you and ask you if you want to come on so that we could hopefully introduce you to some more people, because I think all your talents are wasted and we need to get you in front of more people. And it's interesting because before we came onto the live screen, you said to me that you had actually asked the universe in, I think it was December time, to help you with that. So I'm so
Yeah.
pleased that the universe decided it was going to be me today that could get you hopefully in front of a lot more people. And I hope everyone will be very kind and support you today in whatever comes through for us in this lovely chat. So
Thank you so much.
it's so lovely to see you. How are you doing today?
It's early here in Queensland, Australia, but I'm up early, ready for the chat, and it feels really good to really finally connect face to face or internet to internet. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, lovely. Of course, because of our funny time zones, I always have this when I'm meeting with Australian people. We always end up that they come in a day early. And so we had a funny thing yesterday where you were ready at
Uh,
8:30 English time, but you were a day early. And
no.
I always I always have that with the Australian people. I don't know how to we can solve that. So
Mm.
originally you were saying to me, even though you have no accent at the moment, you come from the northeast of England, but also you're saying at the moment you're in Queensland. Um, so would you like to just give us a little bit of background about, how you how you've been getting on, how you've got to this place where you are in your life? Tell us
Sure,
a bit about what you do. Would you like to
sure.
do that today, Michael?
Of course, of course. So I've been in Australia since I was born in the north of England, Stockton-on-Tees, near Middlesbrough. And uh, back in the day, it wasn't really as easy being, I guess, a gay man in the north of England in the early 90s. But I felt that set me up. I'm telling you that because it set me up as the president to step outside the box of the norm, if you will. So I ended up doing science at uni in Newcastle upon Tyne, and then moving from Newcastle after I finished uni, I moved to Australia for a working holiday, and like many backpackers of that time, didn't come back. So I set myself up in Sydney, and that's where I studied somatic psychotherapy, which is like I guess it's like normal, regular counseling, but it includes the bodily awareness. Now, my journey of channeling didn't happen straight away because I was really ungrounded. I was really ungrounded, and I needed to do a lot of personal work firstly to actually get physically grounded in my body, more awareness. And the somatic body work really helped with that personally. And while I was doing the training, which was a 4-year training, I started to, when I was doing hands-on work with people, Reiki kind of energy work for the nervous system and for trauma, I'd start to speak strange language, like strange sound. And this was around 2004. So this was well before, I guess, Facebook, social media, all those kind of platforms that allowed people to sort of see what was going on in the world spiritually. So I didn't really have a clue what light language was. I already thought I was a little out there. So I thought, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave that alone. I didn't even know what channeling was back then. And so basically when the sound stuff came through, and nobody had heard of it either in my field, in my vicinity. So I just kind of put it to the side because I don't think I was ready to use it. Spirits sort of pushed it to the side. I don't think I was grounded enough. I did a whole heap more personal work, which I feel like does support me in the group work I do now, in the energy work and in the light language channeling, because now I'm very aware of my body. I work with the chakras. I work with the physical body hands-on still, and I do still see some clients for regular therapy, as at the same time as doing a lot of light language transmissions. So around 2012, 13, I sort of found a couple of light language channels. One, Judy Satori, I'm sure people know her. She's been around for a long time. Another one in Brisbane. And they gave me a little bit of confidence in myself to sort of bring that piece out into the world. And I was already running groups in Sydney for bodywork. And so I just started to introduce a little bit of the light language in Sydney. That's where I was living pre-COVID. And it was just people loved it. People felt it. I'm a scientist at heart myself. So I had to do my research. I had to go and test people to see if it actually did anything. So I worked with people one-on-ones. And I was a channel that did the light language first, and the English wasn't so strong. So I couldn't channel in English. And even now, if I'm channeling in English, I have to kind of energetically translate it from the light language to speak to people. So it innately, I feel that my soul is very galactic in origins. So that's why the light language has come through so easy for me. I feel like my channel, I feel like I'm one of the forerunners of the light language modality, if you will, to support other people that are working with it, sort of normalizing it, making them feel safe, to sort of bring it out if they feel a bit strange or weird, giving them a community, and also allowing them to sort of develop their light language if that's what they want to do for healing or for just personal interest. I feel like light language is a piece of work that comes through. I know I've seen people that say, "Oh, I can do a training and teach you how to do light language," and for me, I'm not sure how that works, because I feel like people generally just have it innately within their soul, or they don't. And there's no right or wrong. There's no better or worse. It's just some people are here to bring through that galactic resonance, and
We
some
all
people
have
aren't.
like different, we all have come here with a different purpose, and we've all been given different levels of different types of skills. And to some extent, we have all of them, and we can develop them, but we all have different reasons why some of us develop, say, channeling in one road, and other people
Yeah,
develop healing, and then someone
yeah,
else might develop, like you said, light language. And like you were saying, it's all, there's no right or wrong. It's just
yeah,
we're all here to fulfill different missions in whatever way people resonate with us. We're all here to find our soul group, aren't we, in our tribe. But can I just take you back a moment, because it was interesting what you were saying about the grounding at the beginning. I think I was
yeah,
probably grounded for about 7 years at one point, because what happens is you start to tune in using the higher chakras, and it feels amazing, and you just
yeah,
stay there. So when you're in
yeah,
meditation and you're meeting all
yeah,
these amazing people and energies, you don't actually
yeah,
want to come back to the real world. And what people
yeah,
don't understand is that's our job. Our job,
yeah,
ground all of that amazing energy down and into the ground so that we can start actually manifesting things here in this level. That is our purpose. So when people say, "Oh, I like being up here," and I understand that perfectly, you're not actually
mm, mm,
fulfilling your mission. And the other
mm,
and the other important thing that you said was,
mm,
you've done some transformational, what was it called now? The somatic psychotherapy and transpersonal counseling, which helped you to sort of
mm,
become more aware of your body. And again, that's all part of the grounding. It's all part of becoming
mm,
aware of the moment. And I
mm,
actually had an experience similar to you, because I was
mm,
going through some counseling, And at that time, this is going back many, many years ago, I was having extreme anxiety, and the counselor was teaching me how to feel my body, just like through basic exercises, like just squeezing your muscles tight, really tight, and then relaxing them and feeling the difference. So you become more aware of where the tension is in your body. And that training just on its own was what opened up a lot of spiritual channels for me as well, just through becoming aware of your body. So when you talk about the psychotherapy and the transpersonal counseling, you were saying to me about becoming more aware of your body. Could you explain that a bit more, how that works?
Oh, I mean, this is just my take, so please, viewers yourself, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But I mean, for me, I feel like many of the people that are quite spiritually gifted were born into families that were either difficult for them or you know, it did produce a lot of anxiety for them or they came in with a lot of anxiety naturally. And I feel like they moved away from relying on connection person to person or parent to child, and and sort of developed a very highly skilled connection with source as their resource. And so I feel like a lot of our journey as starseeds or light workers is to come back into relationship with ourselves and other, but also to stay connected with this. So with the body aspect, you know, when we can't leave a situation that we don't like early on, we leave the body. It's the best way to get away. So some people might call it dissociation, some people might call it trauma. So I feel like for me personally, it was really about coming home to my body again. So the place, because I was out and I needed to come down. So somatic body work is really useful for that. If viewers wish to investigate, it really does help you feel your body, and it kind of brings presence back to the physical. And like yourself, that was when things started to open, when I was actually more anchored. Yeah, for sure.
Now,
Yeah.
for my viewers who don't understand light language, and now I don't speak any light language, and I'm not aware that I've had any try to come in. And like you said, it might not be something that I will ever have. So when this started happening for you, could you explain perhaps to people who
Yeah.
don't understand about light language, where is it coming from, and how does it begin, and how does it feel? How do you develop it?
Okay, so for me, it came in like a tornado. I was doing I was doing a Buddhist kind of long teaching. So a teacher came to Sydney. I was doing this Buddhist teaching. I was doing my training. I was really hungry for knowledge. So I was doing everything I could, and suddenly I blew open. That was not the best experience, really,
Yeah.
for people. But it sort of came in, and it came. But then I learned to harness it, I guess. But so I would say it's to viewers that haven't experienced it before, it sounds a bit like gobbledygook. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a language that you would speak on Earth. Yeah, but that I feel is useful because it kind of bypasses the cognition, so it gets our brains out the way, and it's basically a stream of energy that comes through me as sound, and that sound is frequency. I
Yes.
feel it's like a Wi-Fi. So I used to say to people, it's like whether if you speak a different language, say if you speak French and English, you know, it's like you turn your mind to French and then you speak French, or you turn your mind back to English and you speak English. It's the same in light language for me. I speak English, or I just flick my mind to a different Wi-Fi signal and it connects and it brings through this sound. Um, just for people initially, I didn't know what it was all about at first. I had to figure it out. So I practiced with sensitive folks, sensitive, energetic people that would really give me feedback. And so I did my own research on is this actually benefiting people? What is it doing? How is it shifting their energy or their chakras or blah blah blah? And so a lot of the work is around clearing energies, bringing in energies for people. But it kind of developed, and at firstly I got connected quite strongly with the Pleiadians and Thoth, Master Thoth, still connect with those energies, but they were the initial ones that came through. And then as my channel opened and the group work, and I was continued to do group work, Spirit kind of gave me more information. I kind of refined my channel. I got stronger in holding the energy, and more translation came in English in parallel to the light language. So now I know some light language people can do syllable by syllable translation of what they're channeling. I can't do that. But what I do is get an overall sense of energetically what the energy is for that I'm bringing through and how it may support people that are working with me at the time.
So you
Does that
kind
make
of,
sense?
yes, I think so. It's like you're almost getting, it sounds to me like they're giving you a message for the day, or a
Yeah.
message for the person or a message for that situation, and you're
Yeah.
able to translate it for the person in front of you in that moment into what they
Yeah.
might need. And
Yeah.
would that be an accurate way to describe it?
I feel so. And it's almost like I connect with, I guess, their soul team or their higher self or the group's higher self if I'm working in a group setting. And I'm bringing through energies. Sometimes it's supportive of the collective field in general, just themes that are going on. And sometimes definitely it's higher self to higher self connection. And then me channeling through what is the useful frequency for their soul. Sometimes clearing work or sometimes uh, connecting them with soul aspects. It really just depends on uh, where they're at as an individual and what spirit guides me to do on the day. Yeah, yeah,
And when you're bringing this light language through,
yeah,
you said about the Pleiadians, what other
yeah,
things do you connect with? So, for instance, when I say that, when
yeah,
people always say to me, when I'm talking on when I'm giving channeling information out, which I've scripted before, I've written it down, and I
yeah,
say, and I said to them, people always say
yeah,
to me, you are them. And I
yeah,
always try to explain it depends on the situation. So
yeah,
I think you understand this as well. So if you're
yeah,
giving out a purely spiritual message that day, you might link into an ascended master. Like I've heard you linking in with Lady Nada recently, and I think you're going to talk about her a little bit later. And then if it's something more to do with more down to earth things like, what's going on in the USA, then I would
yeah,
in to a spiritual guide or a spiritual team that was more involved with matters at that level. And
yes,
sometimes I actually link straight into what we call the God consciousness, which is the highest, purest level of all. And it really
yeah.
just depends on the task in hand. And would you say that it's the same for you? You get given a different personal vibration or message depending on the task in hand.
Yes, totally. That feels aligned, definitely. Sometimes if it's more um, earthly things like military kind of things, there would be a connection with a galactic frequency on a Palladian ship, military based, which is here right now. But they would be bringing through energies to support that, or very much so if people are in Leonardo bringing through messages for the heart. Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying and sometimes purely up to the Elohim source consciousness and bringing through like golden frequency. Yeah,
Yes. At the beginning of this scamdemic,
yeah,
I saw all the ships. I was living in the Cotswolds in the UK, and I'd been teaching there for many years, and I've been teaching my students on how to open ascension portals in their home.
oh,
And
beautiful.
when the scamdemic came, I saw
Mm,
all the ships come over the Cotswolds, and they were telling me that they were linking the grid. And I could see over every student's home where they had been working on their portals, a ship was now placed.
Wow.
And I could see all the connections. It was showing me visually how they were doing it. So I've seen that, what you're talking about. And then some people say that Commander Ashtar is not a real good guy or whatever, but he normally comes when it's big things like that happening, with the military up at that level, the Galactic Federation, and he will stand with two other masters. Normally, somebody like Sanat Kumara and Lord Katumi. They're two that often come with Commander Ashtar. And what they do, for me personally, is they will stand by my bed, and I know their energy. I know them individually, and then I know to it's time for me to hear what they have to say next. So at the beginning of the lockdown and everything, they were stood by the bed the whole time, explaining to me what was going on at the very highest levels. And I mean, do you get information like that? Does it come to you in the way that they're around you and they need to speak?
A little differently. I don't get as much detail sort of on operations as your good self, but I sort of get a knowing. That's how mine comes a little bit, a knowing.
Yeah.
Like for example, in during the beginning of the scandemic, I was living in Sydney, and I got I've been coming up to this area that I live now, which is 13 hours north of Sydney now. And my nervous system was finding it quite jangly to be in Sydney with all the fear in a busy city. And so we were guided out of the city to here, and it was very much about. I got told from the Palladians that I had to come here. It's like a reassignment. A lot of light workers during the whole last few years have been moved because we're in the portals for the new grids, and so I had to move up here. They said, "Come and work with this Palladian portal up here." So I've been here to anchor light here, and and this is a very kind of feminine space where this area, and I feel like they said to me, "Go now, and you will set things up for later." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." There's not many people I know up here, but I'll trust that. So, so this is where I've been, and it's actually helped me very much ground more because it's not as busy, and the energy is very potent here. So it's really also been a place where I can strengthen my channel and clear my channel. Yeah.
Absolutely. And a lot of my teachings, the spiritual teachings from, say, Lord Katumi and people, they often call us beacons of light, because we, just by being this vessel, as you know, and I'm just explaining this for people that don't understand, we are all vibrational energy, and we actually act as personal portals ourselves. So often we get moved, like you were saying, to new positions to create a portal of energy for the others. So we often have to go ahead, not just physically to new land, but vibrationally. We're often out at the front. And I know about you, Michael, but sometimes it can feel like we've had a promotion and we're out in the front on our own, and we're kind of waiting and looking behind for the others to catch up. And I don't know if you get that feeling sometimes.
Sometimes it's like, yeah, it's nice being a dare I say pioneer, but it's also a bit like, well, where is everybody?
Where is
So
everybody?
yeah. So I feel but and I guess growing up, that's why I come back to the growing up gay in the north of England. It kind of set me up for, you just got to go on with it, get on with it, to be true to yourself, be true to what's coming through you, be true to your heart, and just that's what I do. I just bring through my work. I do go back to Sydney once a month or so and do group work there with an established group I have. My work has changed a lot from well, I still enjoy doing very personal work with one-on-one people, but I also over the time I've moved up here during the last 2 years, but also a little bit prior, the personal portal stuff has come in more, and also grid work for me. So really, that's when I connected more with crystals, and also the work I do now is sort of like planetary work around the grids, when I get group people together, bringing energy to different places, opening bits and bobs, and kind of just through what comes through my channel in the moment. But yeah, it's definitely got a more earth-based grid focus. It's coming in.
That's
Yeah.
probably why we've been connected to each other, because when I'm in meditation, I'm always shown that I'm outside of Earth looking down. And I don't want to
Yeah.
get into an argument about whether the Earth's round or flat. It's not about that. In my
Yeah.
meditations, they just show me being outside of the atmosphere, if you like, and they show me looking over, and often they show me literally just sending healing from my hands through the grid lines to everybody. Because you and I are both planetary, like you were saying, we are at the planetary level. So everybody has different roles in what's happening right now. And some of us, like I was saying before, have had to go ahead and do bigger roles. And so you and I, and my hands are actually heating up as I'm talking now, which means it's obviously, correct. I don't know if you can feel it coming through at you. But
Yeah.
yes, it's like we are putting our energy into the lines, not just above us, but below us as well. It's a whole network it's a grid that connects from your head through your body, down through your feet, into the earth, and then back up. And like you were saying, the grid goes all around Earth. And I think when you're now having this feeling about crystals, I had a time where I could hear crystals, and I worked very closely with them. They used to tell me what they wanted me to do with them. Like they would say, they want to go out in the sun today, and people are going to hear this and think we're completely crazy when we're saying these things. I know I used to hear what the crystals needed.
I've
So
got friends. Yeah, I've got friends that do the same. For me, the way I work with them in my group work is I hold one. I don't. I'm not as chatty with me. I'm not that. But when I feel like that I sit, I hold a crystal. Sometimes I make the crystal grids with them, for the workshops, but also because I do feel like they hold the energy beautifully, but also I hold them, and then they bring through an energy. So this little guy I feel is a little galactic, a little Syrian galactic being.
yeah.
And he's a pretty boy, and he's here sitting with us, just holding space, I feel, for this transmission. And they just come through, I feel, to sort of bring through energies, really, while I'm working with people.
Yeah, because they're full of knowledge as well, because where crystals have been in the ground for, millions of years being formed, they are
Yeah,
absorbing all the knowledge of Gaia. So
yeah,
when you hold a crystal, it's literally sort of speaking to you about all that ancient knowledge that it's been absorbing while it's been being created. Um, Now, when I've been looking at some of your work recently, I can see that you work quite a lot with crystals, and some of them are very beautiful. And do you actually sell them? Are they available to buy from you, or are these just your collection that you're showing people?
Oh, most of them I don't keep and I do sell. I kind of keep them work with part of the work I do actually is I feel like I activate them
Yeah.
during the transmissions, either in person or online transmissions, and then they go and then I sell them. And part of that is to get the energy out to all the grids around the earth. And so if people want to access some of my crystals. I'm a bit lazy. I haven't got them on my website yet, but I have got them on my Facebook. So if people want to check out my Facebook under Michael Muir, they can see I post a lot of crystals on my wall and people can check them out. And if they resonate with them, they can shoot me a message on Messenger. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
they will resonate because the ones that you show are absolutely incredible. I mean, I think I saw you holding up a turtle or something the other day, a crystal turtle, and you've
Yeah.
got really interesting things to say. Before we came on, you said that you were feeling like you wanted to talk about the heart chakra today, that felt like it wanted to come through. Is that for
Yeah.
the collective or just something
Mm,
personal that you wanted to talk about?
as you say it, I feel like it's a collective message for March. Just I think the 1st of March here. I'm not. I think you're nearly the March. Yeah.
No, I
I
can't
think
even remember what day I'm on.
yeah, just we're just into March, so you're near. I
Okay.
think you're night
Yes.
before me.
Oh, yes,
But
because February. So I think I wrote down, let me just check. I think we're still on the 28th here. Yeah, it's the
I think
20,
it'll be yeah.
28th.
So
Yeah.
so I feel like this is a message, really for the heart, for because I feel like there's lots coming in March energetically. Uh, whether it manifests on the earthly plane as disruption, or whether it is more just very ongoing deep frequencies that sort of crack the heart open. I guess what came through for me just yesterday was that it a lot of letting go, a lot of letting go,
Yeah.
and could be of belief systems, internal, external, could be
How does that
uh,
manifest when, in
yeah,
your experience, when you know that
yeah,
someone might be needing to let go,
yeah.
how does it normally, what would you see or feel around somebody that would suggest to you that that's necessary? In
Well, if they're feeling extremely triggered, if maybe it's by a relationship that's mirroring some trauma for them. And so it could be that way. It could also be the global
Yeah,
um, earthquake, some information coming out into the public forum that's quite shocking. So any of these kind of things that sort of shock us out of the norm, and it feels like uh, there's something coming energetically that is going to impact the heart space. And this doesn't have to mean it's hideous. It could be just really beautiful energy coming in to
yeah,
really open it all up. But I feel like that March, April time is really going to be a strong time for the heart of the collective to sort of deepen, to open. So that means that sometimes they could feel a lot of emotion. They could feel old stuff coming up. They could feel internal chaos, but that's okay because it's just the expansion and the opening.
but
And I think
yeah, it's
just
just
I
letting
guess,
go, isn't it? As
yeah,
these
just now. Yeah.
as
Yeah, does
as
that make sense?
as these higher energies come in,
Hmm.
they feel the space, and so the old stuff has to come out. And so what you're explaining, this collective trauma and things, and the way that people are responding, it's
Yeah.
showing that they are absorbing these higher levels of light, which is what we need.
Yeah. And I feel like I mean, I'm for one quite resistant to that process energetically. So I fight it a little and sometimes make it a bit tricky for myself. Yeah. So I guide people in a similar way to sort of just try and drop the fear of the unknown, drop the trying to figure it out and allow whatever's needing to move in their hearts, in their bodies, as these energies do come in and sort of, yeah, disrupt the old and push things out and push old emotions to the surface to be cleansed, cleared, accepted, whatever is right for the
I mean,
person.
it
Yeah.
can be pretty overwhelming, and sometimes you don't actually have a lot of control of it. It's not, sometimes you just can't hold it in anymore, and
Yeah.
it's just going to come out no matter what. And I think that as the energies are changing on Earth now, and they're becoming so strong and pure, we're seeing a lot more of that, like you said, in the collective. And that might be why you're feeling like you were saying that the heart center does need some additional help and work doing. So, what would you suggest in your experience? What could people do to help with that?
I mean, I think anything that supports you as a body, and everybody's different. Um, I'll do some channeling for sure. And
Yeah.
but it feels like it's an individual thing, but supporting your nervous system at this time is really important just to manage the acceleration. Some people like acupuncture, some people like massage, some people like Pilates. Um, I do a lot of self-care because I bring through fast energies and I do need to manage my nervous system in that regard. So I think a lot of body support and also the light language transmissions that I do are really about a lot of it is, I feel, about bringing the higher energies in, but also bringing a lot of peace into the energy field of the person. So it sort of helps people settle, I guess, with the process that they're going through and embody these high frequencies in a way that doesn't feel as arduous at times for them. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Because we do need to take care of ourselves when all these things are going on, because
Yeah.
what people may not understand is everything at our cellular level is changing, it's transforming,
Mm.
and it takes a lot of energy. So not
Yes.
only are you releasing everything you no longer need, but also
Yeah.
your body is going through these major transformations, which can be very tiring, exhausting,
Mm.
and you can
Mm.
really feel like you've been knocked out of, you kind of can feel quite dazed. And so
Yeah.
it's very important to have perhaps an Epsom salt bath with a little bit of lavender in it or something like that, that can help to soothe, like you were saying, all the energies that are changing, soothe the aura. It can help to soothe the electrical system. um,
Yeah.
Grounding as well can help with everything. But I mean, sometimes the energies can be so intense that
Mm.
you actually feel like your mind is going completely a bit mad. And it
Mm.
is actually quite hard, even for me sometimes.
Mm.
So if people are feeling like that, Michael, what is there particular practice or crystal that you found that can
Oh,
help with those sorts of things?
I mean, I think all so I feel like pink and green crystals for a start for the heart, because I think many of us once when we feel a little out of control or off center, we give ourselves a hard time that we should not feel that way, and we don't accept what's going on. But I'm just talking about myself. Um, uh, don't accept the process. So I feel like the pink and the green crystals will really help soften our energy, bring in more self-love and self-compassion, which will allow the body to relax around the response to the higher energies, and then hopefully help the integration be a little bit kinder on our bodies. Thoth is one of the people I work with, and he is often bringing through cellular transmissions for upgrades in the work I do, in the group work I do, and his work is really about, as you say, we are going through many cellular upgrades to manage this light quotient, and I feel that's why there's so many people passing at this time, not just because of procedures that they've had, but also
I
because
agree.
the energies are coming in, the
Yeah.
heart has been stretched, and some soul contracts are completing because the energy is too strong for their heart. Um, it's not always that, but sometimes. So I feel like as a collective, we've really been pushed energetically to manage this frequency, and some bodies aren't coping very well. And that's not to say that everybody's body won't cope, but some soul contracts are completing as they can't rise with the energy. Their physicality is too dense, and that's perfect. They'll come back. That's fine. And but Thoth has really come through quite a lot in the last few years for me, to bring through energy transmissions for the cellular body, to help absorb the light in a way. So it's been working with the DNA, the nucleus of the cell. It's been very cell membrane, to be able to um, what function at a highlight level, so people can feel less disrupted by the energies. Yeah.
Also seen as well some people that have had lifelong sort of autoimmune illnesses or something actually heal because these new energy. So they've been very unwell all their lives, and then all of a sudden these new energies are coming in, and because they are accepting them and not being afraid, and not and doing the inner work and allowing these energies to flow through, I'm seeing some instant healings.
Wow, I love that.
Actually getting well from things that they've been suffering from. And I just wanted to clarify to people that might not know, when you said about the pink and the green crystals,
Yeah.
pink generally refers to unconditional love, and the green is generally the color associated with healing. So the unconditional love and the healing colors, as I think, is why you've probably come up with the pink and the green crystals.
Beautiful, thank you. And yeah, so rose quartz, fluorite, those kinds of crystals. Fluorite is very powerful with clearing negative thoughts. So often when the accelerated energies come through, we get a bit of a spout, or an increase in old negative thinking can come back. Old critical thinking, old patterns of the family system. And so really, that fluorite crystal can really help with neutralizing those negative thought patterns that come up when we're changing and we don't know what's going on so well. Yeah.
Often things like in all healing, like in physical healing too, they can sometimes feel worse before they get better. So when in my journey as a healer, I used to say to people, don't worry if you go home and then in the next 48 hours you feel worse. That means the healing is actually working and it's coming out. And the same is happening with our mental healing, like you were saying. These old traumas and wounds are coming up, and in that moment it can feel overwhelming, but that means we're actually ready to release it. Now, I heard you talking about Lady Nada the other day. I don't know if are you able to talk a little bit about Lady Nada today? Is that something that you would be happy to work with? Because I think you were saying that she works with Lady Nada is not someone I think I've had come through to me before. I normally get Mother Mary, actually, which is a very similar, I would imagine, energy to Lady Nada's healing. But if you would like to tell us anything about Lady Nada today, that would be nice. If I haven't put you on the spot.
No, not at all. It's fine. So Lady Nada, I don't sort of, I just kind of go for the channeling. I don't get a lot of information ahead of time. Would you like me to do some of that right now, or what do you feel?
Oh gosh, that would be amazing. I would love that. And I don't think my audience they've never seen me do that, and I haven't had anyone on before that does that. So we would love to see.
I mean, I guess just a little bit of preliminary. I guess Lady Nada, feminine Christ energy. So very gentle, very pink, unconditional love, rose quartz, the pink ray. So very soft energy. Although, however, when I did the last supermoon workshop in Sydney, she came through very feisty. She was like she was really telling people to step up. She was like doing it very heart-centered, very compassionately, but saying, look, guys, and this is to the starseeds, to the light workers, to our community, to say, stop hiding, stop playing small energetically, and step up. that we're needed in this earthly transition that we're going through, and to really bring our energies forward. So that was her very strong message at that time. But yes, a feminine frequency, divine feminine, are very much wanting to bring through heart healing, I feel, at this time. Yeah. Or heart strengthening for the collective, for people that are going through a lot, that maybe their life is shifting and changing and it's a bit scary. So, or things are changing in the world. And so it's all about, I feel like, stabilizing the collective heart so there's less chaos in the world and more people standing in their portal so that we can hold the space for the energies that are coming through and the shift that's coming in. Yeah. But I can do a little bit of light language if you wish. I can do.
Yeah,
I can do a.
if you feel
Yeah.
comfortable and able to do that, then just go ahead.
Okay. So I'll work with this skull. Yeah. So this is a rhodonite skull. So I like it because it's got quite a lot of black tourmaline in it too. So it has the pink ray, the rhodonite, very heart focused, but also the black tourmaline. So I feel like this little fella isn't scared of looking at the shadow, yeah, because he's got some of the grounding and the black of the tourmaline, and I feel like he's wanting to support this Lady Nada frequency coming in, just for us to sort of wash away some of the shadow of our hearts. So this doesn't have to be like, everyone thinks of the shadow as really dark, deep, hideous things, but it could be actually just removing energies or a veil off the heart where we feel like we're not good enough. Who am I? All that stuff, you know what I mean? So it could be just that getting the dross out the way so that we feel more heart-centered and more in our power. So I guess he's coming in now with the energy of Lady Nada. So as I tune in, I feel the energy above me in my astral chakras, and then there's some sound that wants to come out. And people that are watching, all you need to do is don't worry about what it sounds like. If you laugh, I won't be offended. It's okay. It's just simply about absorbing the energy as frequency through your body, through your heart chakra, to allow your body to do whatever it needs to do for this moment, in this moment, and everything is perfect and you get exactly what you need. So if you feel not much at all, that's fine. It's still working at an energetic soul level. If you do feel stuff, that's great. Please give me some feedback. Shout me a message if you wish. Okay, so now I'm just going to bring through some light language. Ashki bududu da regeshele borke patiti ki nanano korki padananaka. Elki tutu. Shibeti ki bututu de parakanaraka. Shilebeti ki kuro ki pananaka. Shilete konare ki petiki bututu de parakanaka. Shile porka. Shile puka. Shititi ki putatananaka pukatiki. Shotutu tiki putatananaka. Shile pokoto de patadananaka. Shile petiki eleki nananaka. So just take a gentle breath. And just a little bit of an English translation would be, we are here with you. We are the divine feminine frequency. We are here in the rainbow temple above earth. We are the ascended masters. We are the energies of all divine. We are here today to help you bring soothing and amplification to your heart space. We see that there are many unfoldments and dissolutions within your planetary consciousness, and this is causing a wave of upheaval in the collective field. And we are here to say, it will be okay. It will be okay. It will be okay. You have been sent down from above at this time to bring through such high frequencies through your natural portal of light. Trust in the bigger picture. Trust in the evolution of the planetary consciousness. We, the Ascended Masters, and many, many galactic teams at this time are watching with great reverence and compassion in our eyes. We see the struggle for the human body. We are helping with these energy transmissions to amplify and stabilize you as much as we can. Please connect with us directly in your mind and ask questions if you wish us to support you at a physical level, at a mind level, or a third eye level to support your evolution and the planetary evolution. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Amen.
Wow, that was so beautiful. My hands were going completely energetically crazy. They recognize that vibration. And wow, that's a very beautiful place to end our discussion today, I think, Michael. I think everyone will have got a lot from what you've had to say today. Is there anything you would like to add before we finish today?
So I guess people can connect with me if they'd like to work privately.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where, so your website is soulmagiccollective.com. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
And
So
then
people,
go on.
no, I was just going to say, so people can connect with me through email, or I'm very Facebook orientated. So if people shoot me a message on Facebook or a link through Facebook, that's always a good option. I also, as well as the group, as well as the one-on-one work, I do group work online and in person. So I also find the group work, even in the etheric online, is much more powerful when we're a group etheric field. And, I have people from all around the world joining those groups. So if people can connect in, and it's an hour transmission, the energy flows either live or replay. So if you're in somewhere around the world where you can't get up for the event because it doesn't use your time zone, then you can access that energy on the replay. And if you, so those events are often posted on my website or the Facebook, and I do portal events for the sometimes for new moon and also for sacred numerology such as 334455, all those kind of days when I feel like there's power portals of energy to support, and we're doing personal clearing work in those channels, and we're also doing collective planetary service work as well. So people can connect with me through my website or my Facebook.
Yeah. And what we can do as well, Michael, is I expect you're going to put this on your YouTube, which you have a YouTube channel, Michael Muir Transformational Bodywork. So all those things you've just said, I expect you're going to link them below your video. Is that correct? So people can find all the information.
I've got a link tree that's got all my details, so I'll put the link tree under the video, and then it can access all my medias. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people will be touched today by how many skills you have and your insight and your vibration. You're definitely working at a planetary level. I think we both are. And it's nice to meet someone who resonates so deeply at the same, I feel that we are part of the same team at the moment.
Yeah.
And
I felt that when I first saw you on video.
And even though I don't get light language in the way that you do, when you was just saying that to us before, it was coming through very, very strongly. And I'm hoping that the audience will be able to feel that strongly, and that I would like you to, and I'm sure Michael would too, to comment, how you found that. And I'm hoping that you'll come back again, Michael, and we'll have a chat perhaps about some more topics that you are very expert in, I should say. I don't know if that's the right word, but experienced in is perhaps a better word.
I'd love to.
I can understand how somebody at your vibration and with so many skills has not been picked up yet. So I'm really hoping that everybody's going to get on board today, give you a like, give you a comment, go across to your locations and find you. And hopefully we can get you a bit more out there and in the public eye, which is what we need. We need to be spreading this good vibrations and resonance far and wide. And I'm really happy that I've met you today and we've had this lovely chat. And I hope we're going to do more things together in the future. I really look forward to that if we do. And
Thank you.
enjoy the rest of your day. I'm at the end of my day now.
Sure.
And I don't know if you hear my cat, but when you were doing your light language, he was like chatting away because he's saying, "Come on, I want my tea."
Okay. Now I should let you go and get you sorted. It is late.
I assume he was saying he wants tea, or he could actually have been replying to your light language. You never know.
Never know.
It's lovely to see you, Michael, and I'll catch you again very soon. And thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, my love.
Take care. Bye now.